Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you as always for tuning back in. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Leila, the Lenormand reader, and I use the amazing Lenormand deck. Download your starter guide so you can explore and master this amazing deck. Welcome to a new weekly reading. We have the Silhouettes deck, which is my own deck, and we are doing a medium-sized hourglass today. So let's go ahead and start with you, Aries. Let's deal out your hourglass and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Aries, here is your hourglass. It's looking a little bit turbulent this week with complications, and it sounds like you're a little bit all over the place and you need to clarify a lot of issues. The cards look a little bit dramatic, but I don't think they are. As you see, as you'll see, we'll put these combinations together and it's going to appear a bit simpler. Now, the mouse and clouds, let's start with the middle line here. The mouse and clouds points to issues and challenges and complications. Each card is not really dramatic. They have small issues, small problems here and there, but what I feel is happening is that you have an accumulation of them, so it can feel a little bit overwhelming. And that's also why I feel you're going to feel like you're a little bit all over the place. So the focus this week is going to be to clarify these issues. Now, the crossed woman points to a person who comes into the picture. The cards around the woman and also the book in this column are not the brightest of cards, so it can mean that the complications and the issues come because of this person. Now, who she is specifically, or maybe he is, it truly depends on your specific situation, but normally the man and woman cards represent people who have quite a bit of impact and influence on our situation. The cross can mean that you need to make certain decisions about this person and about the issues in general. And also the cross can be a card of burdens. So it can feel like this person weighs on you. Maybe you're not in the mood of dealing with her or having to accommodate whatever things are associated with her. Now, the Rider and book are about news and communication, but the thing about the book being on the right side of the Rider suggests that there are some things that are not revealed. And this actually works well with the mouse and clouds because it could be part of the reason why you're having doubts and having question marks and issues and stressing out about it. So it sounds like the idea is that we need to get to the bottom of something or we need to find something out. This woman is not being particularly helpful, or perhaps there are obstacles in the way of communication. So this could be what's part of the problem, or maybe the whole thing. Now, the cross with the road and book is very much about heading in a direction that is not really known, and you need to pursue this knowledge or you need to figure things out. The cross and road is usually a combination of choices because it is about crossroads. And with the book, you have to make a decision about how far you go with this, Aries, but also on a similar level. And I would say of equal importance is that you have to take on this challenge and you need to pursue the bottom of this. The Rider with the Scythe woman can suggest some changes and probably also a change of direction with this person. I think that you could reach a point, Aries, where you're done trying with this person and you need to move on and do something about this situation. The cross and Rider is about your direction. It's a bit like with the cross and road. It sounds like you have to take on the responsibility of resolving these issues. The road and scythe, as the Rider and scythe, is a change of direction. So again, here we're seeing that you could draw the line. And with the book and woman at the end of the line, I have to say, Aries, that this person doesn't seem to be helpful even after your attempts. And that's probably the reason why you decide to draw the line and move on. So it's a little bit challenging and you could feel busy and overwhelmed with this, Aries. But what comes out of this is, I think, in a way positive. But what comes out of this is, I think, in a way positive because you are going to give this a try with this person. And when it doesn't come through or things don't work out, you're going to draw the line and move on. The cross with the mouse and scythe into the clouds and book is quite a challenging set of cards here. We have complications and we have the need to break through the doubts and also the misinformation or the lack of information. The scythe is actually quite helpful in here, Aries, because it's so sharp that it's going to help you cut through the issues. So you're not going to dwell in this. You're not going to stay stuck in this. You're going to draw a line. The Rider with the mouse rode into the clouds and woman. This is another confirmation, Aries, that this person doesn't seem to be really helpful. So I have to wonder if, this week is, well, how much you're wasting time on this person. So give this another try this week. But I would say, Aries, really beyond this week, don't waste time. And draw the line and move on, because it doesn't sound like she's going to come through. Now, the thing about these cards is that they can happen in different contexts, who this woman is, or what the situation is, what the problems are, if this is personal or professional or family or in some other area of your life that is flexible. It depends on your situation. The cards don't really specify an area. So you let me know what plays out. So a little bit of a bump this week, Aries, but again, this is maybe giving it a last chance before you draw a line with this person and these issues and move on so that you don't waste any more time. I hope it works out for you. I certainly look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with this, Aries. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your hourglass and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Taurus, here is your hourglass, and it's quite a bright set of cards. There is a clear message of progress and change, and you're able to resolve problems and move forward. There are some really beautiful blooming cards here. We have the clover, the flowers, and tree, and these are really bright. We also have the stork and rider, the child, which is a card of new beginnings that suggests a push forward and really things picking up. So really nice cards. The mouse and flowers, Taurus, is very much about overcoming challenges. The mouse is often a card of annoyances and issues. It's not very dramatic, but it's still maybe a bunch of annoyances or maybe a sense of feeling drained. The flowers, though, is very beautiful because it is a card of success and well-being, and it's very much a blooming card, and it's great for healing. So really nice cards here to confirm that you overcome challenges. The Rider and Stork is great for progress and movement and change. They're great cards for getting the green light, getting the good news. They're also great for stepping up, especially with the Tree and Stork here, which usually suggests growth and improvement or even a promotion in the context of work. The Child and Tree is lovely for sowing some seeds that grow into something beautiful. We also have the flowers and clover, really confirming that it's a good time, Taurus, to move ahead and set sail in this new direction. So very beautiful here. The Rider and Child is similar, again, encouraging these new steps or this new direction. The Clover and Fox is interesting, Taurus, because the Fox is a somewhat challenging card. It typically represents people who are selfish and can warn you against something like a trap or a scam. But it is also a card of jobs and employment, and it's really good with discipline. So when we see it with the flowers, the rider, the child and clover, it can bring some supportive messages in terms of work and well-being. Now, we do see it with the mouse, which can cause some challenges, but again, it's part of these issues that we see you overcome because we have the flowers and tree on the other side of the fox. So this can be really good for overcoming any of these challenges. And we'll look at the diagonals again. Now, the rider with the clover and tree is very beautiful. This is very much a combination of growth, and it is also an encouragement to move forward, move ahead. The tree is a slower card. It's more steady. So I would say, Taurus, expect to settle in some kind of routine or a path that's a bit more steady. And I say this because we have a lot of cards here that suggest a push forward. So maybe initially you have a lot of momentum, but then, maybe stabilize a little bit so you get into a groove and a more consistent pattern. The child with the fox and stork are very much about growth, and this can mean a new job, a new project, or something new that picks up. So another encouraging line that tells you to move ahead. The fox, again, can be a bit of a difficult card, so it can call for caution, but I think it's more about first overcoming the issues and second, being more consistent and disciplined. The fox is really good with this. Now, the rider with the mouse and fox into the flowers and tree, like we mentioned earlier, is clear that it's clear about you overcoming these challenges that we see here. So maybe initially things are a bit difficult, or, as you move forward, there can be a few missteps or the need to be cautious, but the flowers and tree is really bright, and it suggests something that blooms and grows, so very supportive for this new beginning. The child with the mouse and clover, and then we've got the flowers and stork. So these are a beautiful triplet, one of the brightest line here. And again, it's a message of overcoming the initial first steps and the initial difficulties that you might have with this. So overall, Taurus, this is a very encouraging set of cards that tell you to move forward. Don't worry too much about the little issues and the troubles that come up. You're going to overcome them, and also focus on achieving some kind of steady state, where things are a bit more predictable and you're sort of in a groove once you kick things off. I have to say, Taurus, that the cards are flexible in terms of the area. We do have the fox that can represent jobs and work. So this could be the area that's relevant to some of you, but it's also flexible just as it is in general. So let me know in what area this applies to you, and hopefully you move forward in this new beginning, Taurus. I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your hourglass and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Gemini, here is your hourglass. It's looking really lovely. We have some beautiful cards here. The star, the flowers, the tree, the moon, and also the fish, which is great for money. These are lovely cards, Gemini. They bring a sense of well-being, a sense of security, and they're also really good for growth with your finances and other areas. Now, the tower and ring is a long-term connection. It could be a connection that you've had for a long time, so it goes back into the past, but also it is a really good combination for focusing on long-term stability and a sense of predictability in your life. It's also possible, Gemini, that the tower refers to people who are higher ups. It can refer to people who are like expert in something, and you could have a really helpful connection here that you could tap into. Now, the tree with the cross is an interesting combination. It has a bit of a spiritual side here. It can point to deeper life lessons or aligning with your good and prioritizing certain things in your life. So you could have a thought about this. You might need to think through this and also prioritize certain things. So as you do this, take your time with it, Gemini, because it's important and it's going to set your course for a bit of a longer term. The fish and flowers is lovely for abundance, for financial success, and also success in other ways. The fish is normally about money, but it can be stretched into work and business and also your ambitions. And the flowers is a lovely card for fruitfulness and productivity. So really nice in here. The cross with the moon and flowers is lovely for productivity as well. The moon and flowers is also about creativity, and with the cross, it's probably time, Gemini, that you express your creativity or work on it so that it can actually express and bloom. These are also really good cards for work and projects, and like I said, being productive. So you're seeing here the efforts, the results of your efforts. The cross can be a bit heavy. It does have a bit of a side where it can mean burdens, but I think you pull through and you're able to, get past any of these, maybe procrastination or just anxiety about things and overcome them. So go ahead and work through all of these wonderful talents and expressions that you have. The fish with the star and tree is very beautiful. This is great for all around success and growth. The star is one of the brightest cards. It's a card of wish fulfillment and well-being all over. And with the fish and tree, it does point to growth and a sense of security. You could be getting more income, you could get a promotion, you could get some kind of improvement in your status or other opportunities. So really nice cards. The cross with the fish is also about money because of the fish. Or like I said, you could stretch it into your work, your business, and usually the practical side of life. Now, the thing about the cross is that it can mean that you need to make some decisions, Gemini, and you have some choices here that you need to take on. It's also important that you prioritize and budget, your expenses or your investments and your effort in general. The moon and star is beautiful. This is lovely for an offer and also this improvement that we talked about and these opportunities to express. So very beautiful cards. And the flowers and tree is very much about blooming and productivity and your efforts bringing those wonderful results. So these are some very beautiful cards, Gemini. They very much encourage you to pursue what you've been doing, through the tree, the tower and ring. The ring is not just a relationship or a person. It can represent your involvement. So we're seeing here a longer term commitment and really prioritizing your good and really focusing on what you've been building, because it is in process of delivering what you want, the results that you're after, and really bringing all of these wonderful things. You could also be tapping into a relationship for an offer or for some kind of opportunity, and certainly do that. It could take a bit more time, but that's totally fine. Work through it, and in the process, look after your ambitions, your goals, and keep doing what is working really nicely for you, Gemini. Let's look at these diagonals. We have the cross with the tower and star into the ring and flowers. So another idea here, or similar idea, that, keep doing what you're doing because it's heading in the right direction. And also relationships are helpful. The fish with the tower and moon into the ring and tree is similar. Again, we're seeing the results and the long-term investment, the long-term effort here paying off. And the ring and tree very much encourages you to stick with it. So we're not seeing cards of change, right? We're seeing cards of continuing on the path that you're on, because it is the right track and it is leading to the results that you want. So grow through this, Gemini, build on it, express and grow further. It's very much on track, and tap into these helpful connections that can push you forward and help your growth. This too is very well supported. Very beautiful cards, Gemini. I certainly hope you resonate with them. Let me know what you make of them, if this was about work and money or maybe something else. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Cancer. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your hourglass and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Cancer, here is your hourglass, and it is a generally very positive hourglass. We have both the clover and key. These are very bright cards, and we have the ring and heart, which is lovely for a relationship or a connection. What stands out to me is the bird and mountain in the middle, and this is contact and communication with someone abroad or maybe travel, and I think it's quite exciting in view of the surrounding cards. So this can highlight a relationship because of the ring and the bird and also the garden, but it can also mean some kind of involvement. The garden and heart is lovely for being in a happy space, in a happy environment. Maybe it's a wonderful community and supportive community. And the clover and ring is very supportive of a relationship. So from the get-go, these are really nice cards for being with people or for a specific relationship and for being in touch with someone, possibly someone who's away or maybe online because of the mountain. But we are certainly seeing this idea of coming closer with this person or these people. The garden, road, and ring is very much about going out and meeting with others, coming together, bringing the relationship closer. Usually the road can be a bit flighty because it doesn't like to be tied down. But I have to say, Cancer, with the ring and all of these other cards, this is more about being open to the connection, enjoying the relationship, and going out and being with people or this specific person. The clover with the key and heart, like I said, these are lovely cards across any context. The key is a card of success. The clover and heart are happiness and well-being. And we're certainly seeing things working out in the way that you want. So really nice cards. The garden and clover, this is very lucky in terms of the community or the people you're with. It could be a chance encounter, by the way. You could bump into someone or get some kind of opportunity. The road and key definitely encourages you to move ahead with these connections, these people, or these involvements. And the ring and heart is beautiful for a relationship in general, although it can also apply to some kind of involvement that you're in. So across the board, Cancer, these are lovely cards that encourage you to be with people, to give and take, to communicate, and to engage. It can mean that you travel or go places as well. And certainly if you can do that, you could have quite a lot of fun. So really nice cards. The Garden with the Bird and Key into the Mountain and Ring. Again, we're seeing really positive communications and meetings that lead to positive outcomes. You could connect with people abroad or land on some kind of opportunity. The Clover with the Bird, Road, Mountain, and Heart. Again, we're seeing these travel cards, right? I mean, the Bird, Road, and Mountain, they can point to going places. And certainly with the Clover and Heart, they deliver wonderful results. So really positive outcomes, whether you go out and meet with people, which is quite likely, whether you travel, which is also a pretty good possibility, or you're just in touch with them in general. Now, the cards can be flexible in terms of what context Cancer, who these people are, what this relationship is. Could be personal, could be work-related, or something else in your life. But regardless, the relationships look really good. You have good times ahead, some fun adventures, and also some really good results, and probably also a pretty good degree of productivity. So enjoy this week, Cancer. Let me know how it plays out. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Leo. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your hourglass and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Leo, here is your hourglass. It's looking a little bit bumpy, and the impression I'm getting is that it's because of a person in your life that is a little bit difficult or a bit complicated. But the overall message of the layout is that you be patient with this person and you move forward slowly to manage things as you go. We have in the middle the Dog and Tree, and this by itself is a really good combination for a relationship that is growing and evolving. And you could be spending some peaceful times with this person, but we are going to see the Clouds and Fox and the Mouse, and these are a bit more complicated and they bring some issues. So the message, in contrast with these challenging cards, the message of the Dog and Tree is really to be patient. The Tree is a card of ease, and it is about wisdom and being centered. So you don't have to feel like this is affecting you. Instead, you're sort of above it and managing it. The Stork and Ship is an interesting combination in the context of the bigger layout. It is typically a pair that points to big moves and changes, and it can even point to travel. So this could be part of the picture for you. It depends really on your specifics. But more generally speaking, it is a card combination for moving forward. So the message of this is not to stay stuck, even if things are a bit slower, even if things are not moving as quickly or in the way that you want. Still move forward in whatever way you can while maintaining some patience with this person. Now, the Woman and Fox brings a person into the picture, and this is someone who is usually deceptive, selfish, self-interested, not really genuine, and things like that. It can also represent someone like a colleague or someone who gives you some kind of service, who you work with. It could be a customer. It really depends on your situation. But the Fox usually calls for caution. So again, it's part of this idea of taking it easy and, moving forward with this person, even if a bit slower. The Fox is also good with diplomacy. So again, take it easy, and there's no need to, to feel upset or to want to be reactive in any way. The Stork with the Clouds and Fox bring up complications, and there can be an issue that comes up. It's like, the Stork sort of creates confusion in the air. And again, the Fox here calls for steadiness and caution, and it calls for being calm and calculated. So it's definitely a good idea not to be reactive. We definitely see this through these cards, through the middle ones, and we're going to see them in others as well. In the bottom row, we have the Woman, Mouse, and Ship. And this confirms what we've been saying, that the ride with this person is a little bit bumpy. It could be someone who is a bit difficult to work with, and it's not, again, moving forward in the way that you want. it can be because of this person's character, or it can be because there are issues in the situation that prevent a smoother kind of path ahead. The Storken woman is about kicking things off with this person, moving forward. But again, we see after the Storken Mouse that there are some roadblocks here. We have the Clouds and Mouse. These are another confirmation of the complications, and the Fox and Ship, which again confirm moving forward, even if a bit more slowly, but certainly with strategy and awareness and calm. So the overall message of the Hourglass, Leo, is kind of clear. This is about a relationship. It's a bit bumpy. It's not smooth. It doesn't move forward easily. And so what you need to do about it is to stay calm, but keep moving forward in the way that you can while maintaining your peace and the peace in general. The Stork with the Dog and Mouse and Tree and Fox are confirming what we say. It's not very easy to move with this person. The Tree and Fox requires patience and that sense of, being strategic. The woman with the Dog and Clouds and Tree and Ship is similar. There are these challenges that we see through the clouds, and then the Tree and Ship, which point to moving forward and just, not staying stuck and moving forward in the way that you can. Now, the cards are flexible in the sense that this could be about a personal relationship. It could be a colleague or a customer or someone at work in your work context, or it can refer to anyone else. The Fox is often a card of jobs, and the Ship can bring up work activity and business activity. So perhaps this is in the area of work. But the cards are still flexible and can apply in other contexts as well. So you let me know, Leo, in what context you feel these materialized for you. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and your perspective. If you're willing to share a little bit about how you're managing this somewhat difficult person, I always appreciate it. So very best of luck with this. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello Virgo, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your hourglass and see what is in store for you this week. Okay Virgo, here is your hourglass, and it's very clear that in focus there are people, contact, communication. There's quite a bit of interaction through a few cards here. We have the letter in the middle, the dog is a person, the garden is people as well, or a community, and we have the ring, another relationship card, and the book, which can also be about information. Now, the clouds and letter suggest complications, so there can be some issues that are brought by this news, or perhaps you're not sure how best to communicate or follow up. So there can be some issues that need to be ironed out here. The fox and dog highlights a person and also a somewhat more deceptive kind of person. The fox is often someone who's selfish or self-interested, not particularly genuine or authentic. So this can be part of the issue, that it's not easy to communicate with this person. At the same time, Virgo, we could be seeing a suggestion from the fox for you to be more tactful and diplomatic. And I would say if you're not sure what to say and how to say it, hold off a little bit. Think about your strategy before you do. The book and ship is very much about pursuing some knowledge and information. It could also be about learning, and you could also be heading in a direction that you don't fully understand. The fact that the ship is on the other side of the book, though, is encouraging and tells you to take that step forward. So this can mean, in the context of the other cards here, that you try to, take some step forward, think things through, and then take a step forward. The fox with the garden and ship would actually be a really good combination for work. The fox can be a card of employment. And with the garden and ship, you could be moving forward in a job or a project. It's also a good combination for getting involved in the marketplace or networking with others and things like that, activities of this kind. The fox remains a cautionary card and asks you to maintain a good strategic approach to all of this, to your activities and your ventures, and also to maintain a tactful approach with people. The book and ring and dog, this is very much a combination of an agreement with someone. You could actually land a contract, and it could work out pretty well, Virgo. So I would say, in light of these more or less promising cards, even though they're kind of neutral for the most part, they're kind of promising for an agreement. So in this context, the clouds and letter can mean negotiating certain things, and the fox would definitely help with that. The fox and book, this I would take as a warning combination, Virgo. You need to figure out the details, read between the lines, and this is very much part of what we're seeing with the clouds and letter. So it's very likely that there are some hidden elements, hidden terms, things like that you want to dig out in order to understand better. The garden and ring is very much about being involved with someone. It can also point to, being integrated in a certain community. And it is a good card for relationships in general and encourages you to get involved and to network. The ship and dog is great for projects moving forward. I'm really thinking customers here or colleagues or teamwork. Things move forward. So at the end of the day, this is looking like a promising reading. Once you figure out the details, the terms, or anything that's not clear, you can move ahead, and it looks like it's quite aligned with your goals. I feel the cards are more geared towards work, your projects, and not so much personal relationships. But I have to say as well, Virgo, that the book, ring, and dog can be very much about marriage, or, some kind of relationship at that level. I don't feel the rest of the cards very much support this, but it is possible for some of you. If that's the case for you, Virgo, then there are still some matters that need to be negotiated and things that need to be figured out. I don't have a greatest feeling with the fox and clouds for something like love and romance. I feel these cards are a bit colder, and they're better for a work context. But again, if this is about a more personal relationship for you, Virgo, I would say, try to vocalize any doubts you have good communication with this person. Try to clarify anything that you feel needs to come through to the surface, and hopefully you move ahead on a sound footing. So good cards across the board, just needing to figure out some hidden matters or some smaller elements or hidden elements. And so do your due diligence about this, Virgo. The fox with the clouds, ring, letter, and ship. Again, this is an agreement that moves forward. Once you figure out certain issues and clarify your doubts. The book with the clouds and garden, along with the letter and dog, we're seeing the same ideas across different lines. So again, the need to bring some things out into the open is very clearly suggested by the book, clouds and garden. And then we have the letter and dog, which is great for moving forward with the agreement, the communication. So this is quite active, but you have quite a bit of homework as well, Virgo, needing to dig things out and understand what you're getting into clearly. Let me know what you make of this. As always, I look forward to your thoughts, your perspective. Very best of luck with it. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Libra, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your hourglass and see what is in store for you. Okay, Libra, here is your hourglass. And as soon as I started laying out the cards, I had a quick impression of what could be going on here. And I really think you need to restrict some expenses or your resources, and you need to cut yourself out of certain losses and to create a more solid foundation. So if you notice the cards here towards the right, they are really strong and stable cards, and they're quite supportive in terms of security. And earlier we have a more challenging set of cards with the snake and mouse and the scythe, and these are cutting and release kind of cards, and we see them with the fish. So my first impression was, well, you need to create some more restrictions, some better boundaries, and to cut some expenses or certain losses. So that could be what's going on. And of course, this essential sort of idea can apply in different contexts as well. So with the mouse and anchor, this is a bright combination because the anchor shows up after the mouse. The mouse is typically about annoyances and difficulties, and it can also point to losses. But the thing about the anchor is that it is very strong and solid, so you're definitely going to be able to rectify these challenges. And specifically, you really need to put a stop at anything that could be wasting away or draining at you or being lost without your intentional goal for it. So you need to be sure that you restrict whatever is not under control. Let's just say that. So the Scythe and Lily as the first set of corner cards, this can point to a radical change, I have to say, Libra. It can point to changes in your life, your lifestyle, possibly in your career. And so we're seeing here the need for adjustments in order to bring things into a more solid picture. The Fish and Tower is very much about long-term security in terms of money and finances. It is very much a combination of pensions and long-term investments and things like that. And so that's, again, the reason why I felt that you need to, be a bit more on top of your budget, your expenditure, or your plan in general. But apart from these cards, this is quite a good combination, actually, and it does point to long-term security. So you are on track to achieving that, but you need to bring some things under better discipline. The Scythe and Snake is a case in point here. This is very much about cutting away and moving away. And with the Tower, it typically points to something from the past or a past chapter. So again, we're seeing a deep change. We saw the Scythe and Lily. We're seeing it with the Snake along with the Tower, which a bit like the Lily has this long-term kind of picture. So we're seeing some deeper adjustments here, Libra. And it seems to me that it's kind of serious. You want to be on top of this. You want to look at the picture squarely and really cut away and remove what is in the way of your security, whether it's directly financial or about security in other areas. The Fish with the Stork and Lily is quite a bright card for improvements in your finances and in your life in general. It also involves making changes to your situation, your finances, your life, your lifestyle, possibly your career and your business. So we're seeing some activity, quite a bit of activity, I would say, Libra, in this area in order to bring things under better control and on a sounder footing for the longer term. The Scythe and Fish is very clear. This has to do with cutting costs and, changing your structure here, releasing anything that you don't need to spend on and things like that. The Snake and Stork is very much about changes and letting go. And the Tower and Lily is about the long term and a sense of security. So we see here that you need to make changes, release certain things, cancel certain things. And then we see this, these cards of strength and security. Really, all of these three are really good for being on a solid foundation. So really good. The Scythe with the Mouse into the Stork, Anchor, and Tower is another reassuring combination because we see here that you are cutting away what is negative, what is draining you, what is straining you, and this creates some kind of release that puts you on the solid foundation that we see through the Anchor and Tower. So these are really nice messages. The Fish with the Mouse and Snake is sort of similar. We're seeing here the loss, the waste, or, the approach with your money or other areas that is not great. But then with the Anchor and Lily, we see here much better control and more security, a lot more security. So the difference between the cards on the left and the cards on the right, they tell the story and they tell us that you are adjusting things and making changes and removing things in order to avoid waste, to bring things under better discipline, which is going to put you on a more solid foundation. Now, because of the Fish, I felt this was mostly about money, but it can be about your work, your business, how you do things. And I'm also thinking, Libra, that it can be health related, for example, where you need to make changes in your lifestyle, cut away some unhealthy things and, remove them out of your life and make such changes in order to come to a better, in a better space across different areas. So let me know what you make of these ideas, Libra. Let me know how it resonated with you. I look forward to your thoughts and perspective as always. And let me know if you're willing to share if you were able to make these changes or at least begin to make them within the week so you can look forward to a more stable future. Thank you as always for tuning in. Very best of luck with the week. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your hourglass and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Scorpio, here is your hourglass. Pretty straightforward, very clear about a relationship. We have both the man and woman, and we also have the ring, so there is definitely a connection here. I have to say the cards are mostly neutral, but they are supportive for a relationship because they suggest stability and a commitment of sorts. The house and woman points to someone who's pretty close to you. It can be someone in your family or in another space, but it clearly suggests a connection. The anchor and tower is about the long term and stability over the long term. And the man and ring is about a close relationship. And we see this as well with the woman and ring. So right from the get-go, we're seeing some really stable and solid cards. The anchor, the house, the tower, and the ring. And these bring strength and stability to the relationship. The anchor with the bird and ring is very much about confidence and communication, and also possibly setting some boundaries or being clear about certain things. And this can be very supportive for the relationship. It's also a message for committing and sticking with the relationship. And the bird being a vocal card, it's a good idea to vocalize what you have in mind so that you have that good communication and that solid relationship. The man with the road and tower can also suggest a commitment in the relationship over the longer term, moving forward in this relationship for the longer term. But this line can also suggest someone who's moving from a past chapter. Maybe this person is getting over a relationship or something else in their life, and they're moving into this relationship that you're part of, Scorpio. The anchor and man, a bit like the anchor and ring, they're solid in the relationship. The bird and road is a bit different from the others. They're both moving cards. And like I said, the bird is about communication. The road is about this path moving forward. But together, and really each one on its own, can point to travel. So I'm wondering if maybe you're going somewhere to meet this person. But in all cases, Scorpio, it's a good idea to stay in touch and to be there for the person and to at least meet halfway. The ring and tower is very much a solid relationship for the long term. So a bit like the anchor and ring. So again, we're seeing these really solid cards in this relationship. And it's very clear that it is a relationship that you're committed to, that is solid for the long term. I have to say, though, that the cards are not really warm. We're not seeing love and romance and, bubbly, happy cards. But we are seeing some very stable cards and committed cards for the long term. So what relationship this is for you, Scorpio, depends on your situation. This is quite flexible. It can point to some family relation. It can point to deciding to commit to your partner and, maybe live together or marry and take the relationship to that next level. And it can also be another relationship, like something professional or some kind of partnership and such relationships. We don't really see that from the cards. The house is usually about home and family, but more often than not, it can point to other spaces. So you let me know which relationship this is about. Before we wrap up, Scorpio, we can read the diagonal. So let's have a look. We have the anchor, house, into the road, woman and ring. Again, I think you might visit or you might go somewhere to meet with this person. The man with the house and bird and the woman and tower is sort of similar, where we have a meeting here with the house and bird. And then moving forward, there is that sense of stability, just like we see with the ring. So very supportive cards for a supportive relationship and a long-term steady situation with this person. So again, Scorpio, let me know who this was and what context this figured for you. I'm curious to know if you're willing to share. Thank you as always for tuning in. Very best of luck with the week and this relationship. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your hourglass and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Sagittarius, here is your hourglass. It's looking like you are going to make progress. There are some issues in the way, but these are going to be easily resolved. Mostly the cards are neutral. We just have the mouse, and then we have the clover, which is a very bright card. So let's build this hourglass from the ground up. The bear and road points to some important steps or an important venture that you are going for, Sagittarius. This could be a big deal for you, but it sounds like you are encouraged to do it. The letter in clover is some very good news. You can get some really positive feedback. And in the other set of corner cards, we have the anchor and fox, which can mean landing a job. So if this is about work for you, Sagittarius, these are some pretty good cards. Otherwise, the anchor and fox are very good for being steady, for maintaining a sense of discipline, and for doing the things that you are doing. So this works well with the bear and road, which demands the sense of courage, and the fox and anchor really add that element of steadiness. The letter with the mouse and fox is a little bit challenging because we have the mouse and also the fox, so together they can bring something challenging. Now, the letter being the card of news, which is we saw is positive with the clover, the mouse and fox can suggest that there are some hidden aspects, maybe some fine print here that you need to look at more carefully. And in terms of a job, there can be some difficulties getting things off the ground, and maybe that's why you've got the bear along with the anchor and fox. So this demands determination on your part, Sagittarius. So you need to be a little bit stubborn. We see this through the anchor and bear, and you also need to be clever and sharp, which we see through the fox. Pay attention to details, read between the line, and understand what is going on here. The anchor, stork, and clover, on the other hand, is really positive. It brings an element of certainty and encouragement to make these changes, and the clover is really reassuring. So maybe at first it feels a little bit intimidating, but on the other side of this, we see that it's quite bright. The letter and anchor is feedback and news. The mouse and stork, like we saw earlier, can be some issues getting things off the ground. But it looks like they do. And with the fox and clover, you move forward easily and peacefully. And the fox is very good at keeping things in perspective. It's very clever. It knows how to get what it wants. The fox is also calm and quiet. So the issues, you don't need to feel like things are dramatic, so put things into perspective when you face these potential challenges as you move forward. So these are some pretty bright cards. The letter with the bear, stork into the road and fox, again, encourage you to move forward. It sounds like the letter gives you the green light to move ahead. But again, the road and fox demands a sense of steadiness and peace as you move forward. The bear and stork have that push, they create a sense of momentum, but the road and fox are a bit calmer, especially the fox. They're a bit quieter. So once you get this off the ground, you'll find yourself in a steady state kind of situation. The anchor with the bear and mouse are, again, this idea of being solid and stable in the face of the issues. And this is a lovely message here, the road and clover on the other side of the bear and mouse, the challenges. We see that you overcome them and you're able to move forward. So these are some pretty encouraging cards, Sagittarius. They tell you to move ahead and move forward and to deal with the issues as they come up. And they're really not huge issues. Really, the mouse is not usually a big deal. The bear can dramatize this a bit, and the fox can as well. But the fox also helps you to be clever and strategic, and the bear gives you that courage that we talked about. So these are some good cards for moving forward, for making changes, for stepping into something. And it sounds like this is possible once you get the feedback or the news. Now, the cards don't tell us, Sagittarius, in what context this is happening. It can be a job thing because of the fox. So maybe here you get a job or a promotion. Maybe you have more responsibilities. That could give you a bit of that initial challenge. But the cards can apply in different contexts as well. I'm not seeing personal relationships, warm kind of cards. So my feeling is that the area where these cards figure in are more along the lines of work or something administrative or in your practical life. But you let me know in the comments, Sagittarius. Let me know if you were able to move forward, if you had to deal with some issues, and what this was about. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your hourglass and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Capricorn, here is your weekly hourglass, it's looking very focused on a relationship. We have the man and woman, and it's looking pretty neutral overall. It does sound like you meet someone new. We have both the book and the child, which represents something new, someone you don't know yet. And then here we see that the relationship evolves, moves forward, and there's sort of a connection building. Now, the book and writer is very clear about someone or something not known. The writer is great with news and communication, so it sounds like there's an opening or an opportunity. And the writer can sometimes be a knight in shining armor character. So if this is about love, it can move forward nicely, although most of the cards are neutral. And again, the book being a card of the unknown, it sounds like this is someone you haven't known yet. So it's likely that you meet someone new. Now, the mouse and woman is a bit challenging here because the mouse is a card of doubt and it brings trust issues when it comes to people. So maybe, at least at first, the relationship doesn't sound so bright. But what I'm also thinking, Capricorn, is that maybe you are hesitating about meeting this person, or you're skeptical and things like that. The child and man points to a new relationship, a new person. So again, we're seeing this idea of meeting with someone. The mouse with the lily is a little bit challenging as well because of the mouse. But again, it's not a big deal. The lily can be someone professional, or it can be a longer term relationship. And also you could be building trust and working through making this relationship more solid. That's because when it comes to relationships, the lily is quite stable and solid, and it tends to represent long-term partnerships. So maybe this is what you're looking for, whether it's in a personal relationship or something else in your life. And so you could be assessing this person generally. Now, the child with the tower and woman can point to a couple of different scenarios. Either this is a new chapter with a relationship, or it can mean a renewal from a past relationship. And that's because the tower can be a card of the past. So this is possible. But I have to say, the lily and tower, they're not the warmest of cards. They're a little bit distant. They're kind of professional. So it's likely that this relationship is, someone in that area. The mouse and child can be a bit of a difficulty getting the relationship off the ground or getting something off the ground. The lily and tower is about long-term stability and security, and this is probably what you're looking for. You could be looking for trust and, someone you can rely on. And so maybe that's part of the reason you're, assessing the situation or a bit hesitant at first. And the man and woman clearly represent a relationship and the connection here. So the cards definitely focus on a relationship. It sounds like you're getting to know someone, and at first you're a bit reserved. You're testing it, as it were. It seems to me that the relationship is not about love and romance. We're not really seeing these cards, but in case it is, it's sort of the same idea. You're getting to know this person and you're looking for something solid and stable. The mouse with the book and tower into the rider and man suggests, again, getting to know this person through the mouse and book. The rider and man, though, is quite nice. It sounds like after some initial, feeling it out, you're more confident to move forward in the relationship, and you're able maybe to open up or, be normal, if you like, with this person. The child and book is a new chapter. The book and lily is about a new phase in general, and the rider and woman is similar to what we saw with the rider and man. So moving forward with this relationship, getting to know this person, and then probably getting reasonably comfortable with it. So some generally neutral cards, Capricorn, that highlight a relationship. We don't really see from the cards what this relationship is about. There can be few possibilities. We could be looking at a professional connection, something more administrative. Maybe it has to do with education through the book and tower. So we've got a few different options here. It can also be job related and so on. Again, the cards are not the most romantic of cards. So my feeling is that it's not very much personal, but it can be for some of you Capricorns. And if it is, the same idea applies, getting to know this person, feeling it out, and then sort of, moving forward with it. So let me know what you make of this, Capricorn. Let me know if you did indeed meet someone, or if this was about picking up a previous relationship and moving forward with it. I look forward to your thoughts as always. So very best of luck with this, Capricorn. Again, let me know how it goes. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Hello Aquarius, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your hourglass and see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Aquarius, here is your hourglass, and it's pretty clear that there's a relationship in focus. We have both the man and woman. We also have the ring. It seems to me that you could be negotiating something, but because of the mountain and clouds in the middle, I'm not so sure how well it goes or how smoothly it goes. We do have the lovely moon at the end, so this can soften things up, but it sounds like at least the process or the transition into this is a little bit difficult, maybe getting on the same page with this person. So the bird and moon as the corner cards here, they point to negotiating something. You could be working through a deal or interacting in order to come to some kind of agreement. The moon is often an offer, and with the bird, that could be what you're negotiating. The lily and woman usually points to someone who's a professional that you're working through. So it sounds like this relationship is more on the professional side. It's flexible though, Aquarius. It can refer to someone who's older or someone you've known a long time. So who the man and woman are specifically for you, what this relationship is about, is flexible. Now, let's get to the middle line here. We have the clouds and mountain. And like I said earlier, this can point to some blockages and some obstacles. The clouds complicates things. The mountain can be a blockage. So it sounds like you're not really getting through, or things are a little bit stuck and you need to work through them. In another sense, Aquarius, the mountain can refer to a place abroad. And so you could be, or possibly online. So it's possible that the distance or, the fact that it's online can cause some issues here in the communication or on working things out. Now, the bird, ring, and woman is very much about negotiating a deal and a relationship that we see through the ring and bird. And if this is about a more personal relationship, the bird suggests that you talk things out and you get to know each other, or you give and take, as it were. The lily with the man and moon, again, we're seeing this element of offer. The lily is often a card of professionalism. So it's likely, Aquarius, that you're working through a deal with this person. The cards are pretty neutral. The moon can be nice and gentle. And so it sounds like things take time, and maybe you need to be a bit thorough and things like that in order to come to this agreement. The bird and lily, again, discussing things here. I also feel that you could be worried about certain things, Aquarius, and maybe that's why you need to talk things. That's why you need to talk these things through with this person. The ring and man is very much a relationship, and the woman and moon, again, suggests a relationship. The moon brings an element of attraction and chemistry usually. So it is quite positive for overcoming these blockages that we see here. And it's likely that things get smoothed out and you're able to move forward. It's a bit slow, and it's kind of not so warm, but it's okay. It looks like it can work out. The bird with the clouds and man into the mountain and woman, again, we're seeing here that there can be some miscommunication or communication issues because of some kind of distance that could be between the two of you. Maybe you're in different locations, maybe it's online, so the arrangement is not ideal, like it has some issues here. But you work this out. I mean, it's part of what you're working through. The lily with the clouds and ring, and then we've got the mountain and moon. So sort of a similar idea here, where you're working through the understanding and the relationship. And then with the moon after the mountain, it sounds like you're able to soften the edges a little bit, work things out, and hopefully come to an agreement. Now, I have to say that I would like some stronger cards for a positive conclusion. So maybe, Aquarius, things are still in process, but they seem to be on the right track. They seem to be on the right track. So overall, Aquarius, things are in process with this relationship. Be patient with it as you work things out, or you overcome these obstacles or the element of distance between you and this person. And it looks like things soften up and you're able to move forward. Again, I'm not seeing the warmest of cards, so I don't know if this is a personal relationship. In general, in terms of work and these sorts of negotiations, things can work out pretty well. Aquarius, if you're just, a bit patient. And in terms of personal relationships, the cards are not, they're not as bright. Like for a personal relationship, you'd like some softer, warmer cards. Still, if that's the case, the element of patience is captured, and this idea of, focusing on the other person is also there. So there is a pretty good bond here. We have the ring, the lily, and the moon are quite good cards here. So let me know if you're able to make this work, Aquarius, and let me know in what context this figured for you. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and perspective. Very best of luck with the week. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself. Okay, Pisces, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's draw your hourglass and let's see what is in store for you this week. Okay, Pisces, here is your hourglass. This is a bit tricky. We have both the snake and fox, and we have them in relationship contexts. We have the ring, woman, heart, and garden, and these are all about people and relationships. The snake and fox are pretty deceptive, especially when they show up together. They're sort of similar. They bring this element of deception and people who are insincere. The snake is more toxic than the fox, but together they certainly highlight this element. So it's going to call on you to be cautious with people and to be diplomatic. You don't have to invest yourself in these people, but you have to manage things carefully. So the heart and fox in the middle here is definitely someone who is half-hearted. And again, it could be advice to you, Pisces, not to over-invest yourself in certain people or situations. So this is very cautionary. The ship and garden is about going out, going places, exploring places. So it could be quite fun. You could be out meeting people and doing things. And the woman and bird is about being vocal and having conversations or opening up. So it sounds like there's like an opening up energy through the corner cards, but then these inner cards here, they call for more caution. The woman can represent you, or it can represent someone else. And it sounds like you're getting to know someone, or maybe you're hanging out with people, but I'm pretty sure you quickly discover that something is off and that you need to be cautious about certain people. So maybe from the get-go, Pisces, maintain this kind of vigilance. The ship with the snake and bird is another suggestion of being careful about what you say. We have the snake and bird here, and it is often a card of silence, whereas the bird is opposite. It's a card of expression. So when we see them together, it's about how you express, being calm and diplomatic, and also probably, Pisces, withholding a fair amount of information. So the ship with the snake is about moving forward carefully, even, I would say, possibly treading on eggshells. So again, Pisces, it sounds like you're going to open up and say some things, but be careful, be a little bit conscious about this. The woman with the ring and garden is definitely about being with someone, hanging out with this person, and maybe making a connection. The ship and woman is sort of similar. You're going places with this person, or you're meeting. And the snake and ring is clearly about a deceptive relationship. I have to say that a third party, a love triangle, cheating, and dishonesty are also possible, Pisces. Now, I can't judge who the third party is. Maybe you're the third party, Pisces, or maybe it's someone else, or maybe you discover that your partner is in a separate relationship. That's possible. The bird and garden is very much about networking, being out with people, and probably also talking things out. So when we see the progression of the cards from left to right, we see that there is a possibility that you open up about these hidden things that we see inside here. The doubts, the question marks, or maybe this initial caution, you overcome it a little bit and you move forward. At the same time, Pisces, we cannot not see that there are some pretty questionable characters here. So I would say with these people, be careful again, and maybe withhold altogether, and just, carry on doing the things that you enjoy or hanging out with the people you enjoy. But you have to be aware that some people are not okay. And, they could be playing against you. So that's something to be careful of. Now, the cards are very focused on relationships, but they could apply in other contexts as well. we've got the fox in the middle, which can be a card of jobs. And in this sense, maybe you're pursuing a job or getting involved, but still the relationship factor is clearly in focus. And so whether this is on the job or elsewhere, Pisces, you have to maintain vigilance and caution with people, to be careful about what you say, to whom you say it, and so on. The ship with the heart and ring is a positive combination. This would have been great for a relationship, but we do see the fox and bird after. So maybe you thought that things were nicer, or people were nicer than they are, and then you discover what they're like. And also it is another like a repeat suggestion of being cautious about what you say. So even as you get to know these people, or maybe there's a pretty healthy situation, you still want to maintain caution as you move forward. The other diagonal, though, is a bit more challenging because we have both the snake and fox together. And like I said at the outset, together they can be pretty difficult, pretty toxic. So we see these two cards with the woman and heart and the garden clearly focusing on these deceptive people or this deceptive person. Initially, they sound nice, or maybe they seem interesting or interested, but then with the snake and fox and then the garden, it's pretty clear that you need to be cautious with this person or with these people. So overall, Pisces, it's a bit tricky this week. It's a bit like you're treading on eggshells and being careful about how you communicate with people. You could be discovering, you could be learning. So take your time with this, and also, just watch what you say as well, and also be a good listener, like pay attention to what's going on. And in case this is about a love triangle that you're involved with in one way or another, I do think that it could come out. I'm not seeing a fallout. Okay, I'm not seeing a dramatic fallout, but I do think that there is a person you need to be cautious of. So let me know what you make of these ideas, Pisces. Let me know if this was a person or some people and how things played out with them. If this was a love triangle, or just more generally, the need to be cautious with certain people. And also let me know in what context this was for you. If this was personal relationships, or in some other aspects of your life, like work and maybe home and family. As always, I look forward to your thoughts and feedback. Very best of luck with this, Pisces. Thank you as always for tuning in. And until next time, take very good care of yourself.